Of course, 2020 will bring a lot of challenges and milestones, but if I were to pick two, I would say it's European Houses of Culture, which will soon be called European Spaces of Culture, which will actually continue for a second phase. But in 2020, we will see 5 projects being realized in countries, and we will have the final conference. So the idea here is to find new ways of innovative collaboration between European stakeholders and local stakeholders in an equal partnership on the ground. And at the end of the year, there will be a conference in Brussels which will bring forward policy recommendations to the EU. So our task is to find or to define how European collaboration in cultural relations can look like. The second milestone that will come up, or that we'll start working on in earnest actually in 2020, is a toolkit on fair collaboration in international cultural relations. This is something that I've brought into the network also in the Siena Cultural Relations Forum in 2019 and in the last General Assembly of EUNIC, because when we interact with our partners on the ground in culture and in the arts, my experience, I've worked in African countries before, shows that it's very difficult to achieve true equal partnership when one partner comes with all the money, comes with a large network, comes with huge infrastructures and also different sets of skills. And so this toolkit will provide, in a way, answers or processes and instruments of how to overcome these challenges and arriving at fair collaboration practices. And I think it will also raise the awareness of the blind spots that we have due to our past of colonialism and imperialism, now also with climate change. One of the projects I'm looking forward to is one from the European Houses projects in Mongolia. And the project is called Green Hero, while Ulaanbaatar, the name of the capital, is called Red Hero. So it's also a nice wordplay. EUNIC colleagues will be looking at environmental issues, and they will see how the arts can contribute to raising awareness and to improve also the life conditions of people living in a part of the city that's especially affected by climate change. I see 2 major axes. One is the habitat that EUNIC is interacting in, and one is the network itself. And I think for one, we have a new commission, we have a new high representative, and we have a new European Parliament. So we need to forge new partnerships with those new colleagues and make sure, also together with other organizations, that culture remains a topic of importance and that especially international cultural relations aren't forgotten. And when it comes to our network, I think we can work on what we've been doing, professionalizing our collaboration, really making it a habit to work together, and also finding good ways of doing that and becoming better at how we do things, so that it becomes clear that if we know our strengths and if we pool our strengths together, that we can have a larger impact. Also, I think one item that we could look at is, what does it mean to be truly European? We know that in some clusters, for example, not far from all members are present. We have clusters with 3 members, Spain, France and Germany, for example. But how can the activities of those clusters also reflect a true Europeanness and have a Lithuanian or a Greek strand as well? That remains something to be seen. One item that colleagues sometimes raise is about the diversity of EUNIC, and especially about the fact that it also includes ministries. When EUNIC is called EU National Institutes for Culture. Well, I think here, yes, it's true that EUNIC is quite diverse, but not only in that it includes ministries, but also other agencies work very differently from cultural institutes as such. They also don't have a network, for example. But I think this has to do with the diversity of the EU in itself. And some member states cannot afford and don't have the privilege to have a full-fledged cultural institute with a worldwide network. And we need to take that into account, because I think this diversity is our strength, the strength in the fact that we are representing all of the EU member states, and that is our asset. This is why we can have a strategic partnership with the EU. In all this diversity and also in the different ways of understanding cultural relations or cultural diplomacy, what unites EUNIC is the way it understands cultural relations. We have been quite influenced by the papers that the EU has produced, the strategy and the Council conclusions. And these papers are quite progressive in how they understand cultural relations. They have the focus on partnership, on truly working together with local partners, very broad definition of culture. And I think these principles that are outlined in these papers, they agree with the strategies or the way of working of even the most progressive sort of at arm's length institutes or members of EUNIC. So I think this is what unites us, and I think this is how we will define our work more and more in the future. And also, as a side note, when EUNIC was founded in 2006, there was already, from the 6 members that founded EUNIC, one that wasn't a cultural institute, and that was the Austrian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So already in the inception, EUNIC was quite diverse. I think working in EUNIC, and especially working in Brussels and in the realm of the EU, is extremely meaningful. I think what I realized when I came here is how much fun it is actually to work in a truly international team and environment, and to have a multilateral European approach. Because I do think there lies a lot of strength in it, and after you've been in Brussels for a couple of months or years, you wonder sometimes why member states think they can do a better job alone. Whereas I think to us here in Brussels, it's so obvious that you can do a better job when you work together. Of course, Brexit has been on our mind for the past years, and we've discussed it several times at the General Assembly and what it would mean for the British Council's membership in EUNIC. What became clear was that the relationship should be close, and yet EUNIC should adhere to its statutes. So what it means now is that we will use the transitional period until the end of the year to figure out what this future relationship can look like. My wish for international cultural relations would be that it would be more at the forefront of foreign policy, not only because it contributes to socioeconomic development, to the well-being of a society and to peace building and reconciliation, but also because culture has an intrinsic value in itself and it's a basic human right according to the UN Declaration of Human Rights. And we as cultural professionals, we need to claim that more boldly and work all together to bring cultural relations to the forefront and also bring to the attention of political leaders the value of culture for society in general.